All right, hey everyone. This is for CIT 261. This is Group 7. We have Jefferson, Dimitri, and myself, Kyle. And here we're going to present our budget app today. This was a really great team effort that we worked on, and it's really come along. Our scope for this project was really to build like an interface that users will feel comfortable using, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. What the actual interface and what everything is being used for. But the main scope was this is to create a calculator and to have other aspects of this budget app that users can go to for financial help. Unfortunately, there were a few things we weren't able to add due to time for the 3 weeks, but we feel like we got a good gist of what we needed. And right now, we're going to have Dimitri talk a little bit more about those things.
The main difficulties that we faced it was that we couldn't include already existing libraries and frameworks, and we needed to implement our own code to do some really simple stuff. And we understand right now that if we, instead of writing like 50 I don't know, like 50 lines of code, we can just implement one line and include some libraries like Angular maybe, or a few like I don't know, like jQuery or something, and it will be solve like it will be solve all our problems. But we in this class have to write everything manually, and it was kind of the main complicated stuff. And at first, like about myself, I was really disappointed that we couldn't use modern technologies to solve that problems, and why we need to do all that stuff that libraries doesn't exist in the world right now. But I understand that the main reason of it was that we can become professionals when we go deep in the technologies and we understand it from the backside, from the kind of back end of these libraries, how everything really works. For example, with Ajax, it's kind of really simple if you just insert Angular stuff and kind of, I don't know, it's you can do it in 5 minutes. But when you need to create it manually, it's kind of hard, and it was the most difficult. But anyway, it was really interesting, and right now we feel that we achieved that goal and became more like professional in the web development field. So it was really a great class.
Okay, so let's take a look in our web app. Let me share the screen. We decided to publish our project in the GitHub pages, so we can access the address. So it's our first page, our login page for our budget app. In this part, we created a login and a password. As we don't using the relational database or like MySQL or another database, we only create a login and password only to create access to the app, but we don't have a big safety because we don't using this. We're not using this database like MySQL. So here to open the app, we needed to use the login. We decided for budget, and the password also budget. We click in login, and here we have the budget calculator. We have some options here. The first option is to select the month, so we can, for example, select December. The first part, we have the incomes, so salary, rents, interest, or others. So for example, here I will put 1,000. Here 100, 100, 100. When we click in total, we have the function to add all these input fields. The next part, we have the expense. The interest part here that we create a function to calculate the tithing. Okay, so let's only put some values here, 150. Okay, when we click in total, we get the sum of the incomes and get the 10% here, and the all others input fields here. So we have the bottom balance. When we click in balance, we get the total incomes minus the expense, and we have the balance here. Okay, so that it's very simple, but it's very useful. Here we have a function to get the month. Okay, so if we change the month here, we have another month here too. Okay, so here we have 3 advice from Forbes how to manage budget. When we click here, we have 3 sentences, 3 texts to help us to manage our budget. And using HTML5, the option for video, we have expired video here from the LDS.org to help us how to manage our budget too. Okay. I don't know, Kylie, do you need to continue to explain about the transitions? Or?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go and talk a little bit more about that stuff. So let's go back and give me 1 second, guys. And so I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Okay.
All right, there we go. And so we talked a little bit more about the main bulk of what Dimitri and Jefferson talked about. And so to make our app fully functional, we decided to add a few other things like transitions. So if we click on profiles, you'll see each of our profiles. And when you hover, this is called CSS transitions. You'll see our names. So you see my name, Kyle. When you hover over Dimitri, you see Dimitri. And when you hover over Jefferson, you see Jefferson. Also decided to create a logo just for the basic points of having a website. If this was an actual website, we'd have a logo for our business. So I just called it Best, and that will explain when we go to About Us. So when you see that, it does an animation, CSS animations. And so it stands for Become, Experiment, Save, and Testify. And so this is for our budget app. And if you start to click on all these links, you'll get to go to each one. So it's fully functional in that way. So if you click on the home page, then you can come back here and log in to set your budget. And let's log in. And it goes right there. Then it's a fully functional web app. It works, and it's utilized in that way. Sorry, wrong one. Make sure I'm on the right one. Here we go. And a great thing about we did with this project, it was as Dimitri and Jefferson were saying, it was a good opportunity for us to really strive ourselves and to really push ourselves, I should say, to really make it something that all users can use. And that's really what's important is when we come to making products like this, it's about the stakeholders and what they want in an application. We feel like we were able to deliver that in the end, even though there's some things we still wanted to implement. And as Dimitri said, there's some things in the scope that we wish we were able to use. But now we know how to do this without using those things. And so really this is our budget app, and that's pretty much all we have for you. Did you guys have anything else to add, Dimitri or Jefferson?
So Kyle, I believe that we can show, I can show some parts of the code only to get a similar explanation.
Yeah, let's explain just a little portion. That'd be good.
Okay, so as I said, we used the GitHub, right? Here we have some we created a budget app here. This folder. In this folder, we have all files of our app. we decided to create .js to create only the functions of our app. So here we have all functions to organize better our code. Okay, so here we have this code. We have the index, that we have a login page, a login password. Okay, so here we have some part of it. After this, we have our first page. It's a form. In this, we have the inputs to input our incomes and our expense. So here we have the main parts of it. Here we have, as Kyle was explaining, about the About Us and the profiles. So we have we decided also to create the .css for the style of our web app. So here we have About Us, CSS, and we have the profile. Okay, and here we have a style for another page of the web app. I don't know about Dimitri, would you like to talk about the JSON that I believe that you created?
Okay, do I need to show it? One second, I'll share my screen.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so it was like pretty simple JSON file, and it includes as a DOM function, as a JavaScript DOM function in few tags here. One second. So we parse the JSON from that file, and we have another JSON that includes right inside the code. So basically, maybe half of the text that include in the application, it's parsing from JSON file. For example, here we parse the JSON, we stringify the JSON, and we use DOM to put it on the ID 1, 2, and 3. So somewhere here it's happened. So it's kind of really simple, and we didn't want to use really complicated stuff. We just our main goal was to understand how it works from the backend and understand how to use it without additional libraries. So and I think we reached our goal, and it wasn't really like complicated app, but we enjoy our teamwork, and we enjoy the coding, and it was really awesome.
Great.
Good job,
Okay.
guys.
Good job. I think it's done. I don't know